Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I appreciate it. This is Diane's Tarot. I am Diane Aquarius. I hope you are doing well. This is being recorded Monday at around 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I just recently finished my live with Adam Free. So if you want to check that out, it's under my live videos. It's there. We do a nice in-depth look at Shapiro, Vance, the election day, the DNC. He's done up like a lot of nice charts that he talks about in that. So you might want to check that out. I do have a new podcast out. I've been putting out a new podcast every week. And this one's called How to Stop People from Draining Your Energy, Claim Back Your Power. So for like all my empaths, like light workers, sensitives, all of you folks. We are in Mercury retrograde, and I did put out just a little short video about the positives of it because we always look at it as, you know, being so negative, and I don't think it has to be negative, right? There's always an upside to everything. There's a new blog on my website, dianeaquarius.com, and it's called Crystals for All Zodiac Signs, a mystical guide. So for each zodiac sign, I have paired up which crystal is best for you. And also too, take a look at my community tab. If you remember, last week I had made that video about the channeling that I did with Rosalind Carter, and Mr. and Mrs. Carter's son validated what I had said about why he's sticking around. So that was like some nice validation. It starts at 20:05 in that video. The links are there in my community tab. And so we just had the new moon in Leo. So, you know, time to be courageous, right? Step into your power. Members, tons of videos came out over the weekend. Please make sure that you check all that out. After I channeled Archangel Barakiel, I also put out a beautiful one for my angel members. 5 prayers to him and like 10 tips, for working with him. He is the angel of blessings. And if you do want to join membership, I will put the links underneath. And make sure you hit the like button, please. Like, subscribe, comment, share, that sort of thing. If you see me looking down, so it's because I'm looking at my iPad. I have your questions here in front of me. So I was intrigued by this question. I thought this was a fantastic question by Kim C. Does Shirley Chisholm have a message for us now that Kamala has been nominated for president? So if you don't know who Shirley Chisholm is, she was the first woman to be an African-American congresswoman back in 1968. I believe she held her seat for like 7 terms. She was there for a long time, did a lot of good work, for her constituents and for, just moving the country forward in a way that it should have been moving forward anyways, right? But she was one of those people that did help move our timeline forward. So it's funny, I went into her energy when I saw that question. And now here's the thing, I've never seen any videos of her, so I don't know what her personality was like, but she came across as a little sassy, and she goes, "It's about damn time. It shouldn't have taken this long." So she is really happy, very excited, very supportive of Kamala, and she is just rooting for her. And it's funny because I say that, but she also said, but she doesn't need it coming from me. She's like, she's got this. So, I loved that. Great question, Kim. Thank you. This is a great one from Jacqueline. So, how is JD Vance's marriage doing? Yikes, right? I cannot imagine. I mean, I feel for Mrs. Vance, or whatever her last name is, right? Because he keeps changing his names. I think she's Mrs. Vance. Jacqueline says, I don't think this is what she signed up for. I saw how uncomfortable she looked during the convention. So let's take a look at her. Yeah, I don't think she's feeling so great. I'll be honest. I mean, do you blame her? He and 45 are saying very racist things, and here she is. So how is she feeling, Spirit? What do we need to know? So she is all about that family life, right? The husband, wife, the kids. So this is the 10 of Cups. Overall, I would say that she's like a peaceful, content person, and she's like very devoted to him, to her children. I would say she very much identifies as being a wife and a mother. Look at what her obstacle is. So for those of you that don't know, my first card is the significator card. The second card is the challenger obstacle, and the rest of the cards are the outcome cards. This is like the other family card, 10 of Pentacles. This has the grandparents, parents, the children, the two dogs even. So her obstacle is family. This is also one of my cards for the Republican Party. So think about that for a minute. Here is this woman that is just all about being a wife and mother, and she's feeling like because of the Republican Party, that's getting in the way of things. That's, taking away from what she wants, how she envisioned her life going forward, okay? So she's speculating, she's thinking, like, what is it that I do next? It is interesting that this is a page, because pages are children. So far, I've pulled 3 cards for her. All 3 cards refer to children. So once again, very much devoted to the children. Judgment card. She's having a rough awakening with this. This is not what she wanted. She is not happy. Let's keep going. I don't know if you had to be psychic to predict this, right? 3 of Swords, heartbreak, heartache. She's sad, she's depressed. This is not a good thing for her. You're right, this is not what she signed up for. If I take the bottom of the deck, King of Swords, I'm going to say that JD is cold, clinical, analytical, very critical of her. This isn't a warm, fuzzy card, right? So I think she's being told to play the part, do what you have to do. We're moving forward with this, whether you like it or not. And I think because she is so devoted to being this family woman, she's having a tough time. Stacy asks, if the timeline shift has sped up for Kamala, then does that mean all of our timelines have shifted too? Yes. Yes, because if you're in the timeline where Kamala had a shift, because you have to remember, there's timelines stacked upon timelines and stacked upon timelines. So if you are watching me right now, you are in the timeline where Kamala is going to be the next president, right? She is, Biden isn't running, okay? So we've shifted. So it's a complete shift. So now that's our new reality. Timelines are our reality, okay? It's what we are experiencing. We can make shifts as a collective like we just did, but we can also do individual shifts too, right? So that is what I teach with my manifestation course. For anyone that wants to take that course, I do teach you how to shift your individual timeline, because you can shift to that of abundance, joy, getting that new house, getting, your soulmate, whatever it is, right? You can shift timelines on your own. So that is for the Awaken Your Mind and Above members. Jane asks, almost 8 years ago, shocked at the results of the election, I turned to Spirit and asked if there was anyone else who was flying below the radar that we needed to be watched. Yeah, that we needed to watch. Okay, so yes, of course. And she listed 2 people, but honestly, we could spend days, weeks, months going over all the people that fly under the radar that affect our lives negatively, okay? So she was given 2 names, she says, in November 2016. One was Netanyahu and the other is Eric Prince. She says, my questions are simple. What do you get on these two men individually and possibly together? What do you guys tell you if you ask whose movements are going unnoticed globally, nationally, that we should be aware of? So this is where I say there are some readings I back off from. I will not read on Eric Prince again. It is too dark. He does have psychic protection around him, and I can feel it. I don't like it. It's not a good feeling. And here's the thing, Jane, what you're feeling psychically, validate it. Yes, he is a nefarious person doing nefarious things. I will take a look at Netanyahu again. If you did watch my predictions back in January for 2024, I said he is on his way out. I still hold to that he is on his way out. I think sooner than later. I think his people are sick and tired of him. Okay. So the card that represents him is the Fool. Now, one thing I do think is that he is moving about a lot. The Fool does move around a lot. Okay, this is a movement card. And so I'm going to take that level. I'm also going to take the level of face value of the Fool card, that he has acted foolishly. He has miscalculated. You know, I think he really thought that he was going to be like a dictator or a king forever, and it's catching up to him. And so I do see him moving around, trying to get assistance, you know, trying to garner favor from other political leaders around the globe. His obstacle, he just can't keep all the balls in the air anymore. He's, you know, juggling. He's trying to, you know, keep this war going. He's trying to juggle the finances and garner support. And, you know, it's like he has too many balls in the air. They're starting to fall. But he's still wheeling and dealing. Right now, Three of Pentacles, he's wheeling and dealing. He's still going from place to place, person to person. You know, anybody that he thinks that has a bit of power and money that might help him, he's going there. He's still, I will hold to this. This is the Lover's card. That was Three of Pentacles. Here's the Lover's card. He still has a thing for 45. I really think when he met with 45, it was not for good reasons. I think he would love to see him get reelected. He really does want, he wants 45's backing, not just the president of the United States. Because I don't think he would ever get from a Democrat what he could get from 45. I think he feels like he could manipulate and get more from 45 than, say, Kamala. Interesting that he gets the World card. I'm going to look at the bottom of the deck. High Priestess. Lots of major arcana here, right? So, I mean, my major arcana, there's only 22 in the deck, right? And he's getting a lot of major arcana, which means that this is a really important time in his life. This is where big shifts happen. I see him leaving Israel, okay? I'm taking this once again at face value, where he is moving about the world. He is going to be changing his residence. Why? High Priestess. The High Priestess is about having secret agendas and hidden motives. And so even once he leaves, he gets ousted, whatever it is that exactly happens to him, that he goes, he's still going to be him, okay? He's still going to wheel and deal, try to do what he can. Oh, I also wanted to say at the end of the video, I normally do a 3-card pull. Tonight I'm doing a 3-stone pull, which is going to be different. So you might want to stick around for that. It's a little different, but I think you might get something out of that. Amanda asks, will the situation in the Middle East improve soon? It feels like things are ramping up a lot in the past day or so. Okay, so let's take a look at the Middle East. Yeah, I mean, things are ramping up, but let's see if there's like an escalation that's happening. For one, I just want to put it out there that I do think that we are safe. I don't think that there's something, you know, like say nuclear that's going to happen to us in the US or in other countries. I see it more or less being confined to like that region, as opposed to getting onto our soil and affecting us. So 10 of Pentacles, I'm going to pull the cards. I'll tell you what they are, and then I'll do the interpretation. So at the root of the matter is the 10 of Pentacles. And I think, you know, that's kind of the perfect card in a lot of ways because it shows generations. And that's what's been happening with the Middle East, right? This isn't, you know, they always say in the Middle East, the problem with Americans is that we look at wars in terms of days, weeks, months. They look at wars in terms of centuries, millennia. And so this is something that just keeps getting handed down from generation to generation. The obstacle, 8 of Swords. And, you know, if you look at her, she has all these swords behind her, right? There's 8 of them. And I don't think the 8 necessarily means anything in particular in this case. But what they do represent are all the different ideologies all coming together, crashing, and leaving the people in that region like this character where they're just bound and they are stuck. I do keep getting this. I know things are bad, okay? You know, I don't need to recap the news for all of you. I know you can see it for yourself. You don't need it coming from me. But the sun is going to come out again. This is, you know, they're going to have like a rebirth. There's going to be a new day for them. All right? This isn't going to last forever. Nothing ever does. And interestingly enough, there's going to be somebody that's either female or female energy. I mean, I would say female, that is, you know, very strong, maybe even cold, but very analytical, fair, balanced, moral, ethical, that comes along, that sets things straight. So that's something that I think we can look forward to. Interesting, 2 queens back to back. So I'm saying, okay, so what I'm going to say is this is actually the same person that embodies both of these qualities. A woman that is grounded and down to earth, who's caring and nurturing, like the Queen of Pentacles, and also has the logic and intelligence of the Queen of Swords. If we take from the bottom of the deck, we get the 6 of Pentacles. And if you notice, he's holding the scales here, and that tells us things become better balanced. Those people that have been affected down here, they are like being restored, renewed. They're getting what's due to them. You know, they're getting what they need. So this is very like hopeful to me. All right. This is something that I think, you know, I know like we're in the muck and mire of it right now, but the nice thing about tarot is that it can pull us further along and we can kind of say, okay, you know, yes, it's bad at the moment, but it gets better. Now, Amanda asked a second question, and I do not know anything about this, so it's going to be an absolute cold read, which I think sometimes is for the best. She says, also would appreciate a reading on the riots against immigrants in the UK that happened today, praying for the safety of everyone being affected by violence. Yes, indeed, right? So, all right, riots against immigrants. You know, it's interesting. Sometimes we get so caught up in the American politics and current events that we forget to see that a lot of what we're going through, other countries are going through too. I think the UK is better at hiding and not putting things on the news as much as we do. So I think sometimes we don't always get to see everything when it comes to the UK. Oof. All right, so these, you know, poor people, the victims are feeling very betrayed, stabbed in the back, you know, like almost like they didn't see this coming. So that's really sad. But you know what? On the other hand, this is also a 10. And so 10 is about, you know, in tarot anyways, that things are coming to an end. All right. So once this ends, then we can have that new beginning. The obstacle, Ace of Swords. People just not thinking things through, right? And aces are new beginnings. So the obstacle is having a new beginning where truth and light, justice prevails. Eight of Cups. I don't see this as something that's going to continue again and again and again and again. There might be like smaller things happening, of course. I'm sure that there will be, actually. I think that's just unfortunately, like that's the times that we live in, right? So no, I think things will get better. I mean, he's walking away. All the cups are upright. They are full. And so if I was in the UK, I wouldn't be panic stricken right now. Okay. If I was an immigrant, that is. And there is, Five of Swords, a ruthless battle going on. But look at the character. He's looking back and he's asking, was it worth it? And, the answer clearly is no, because, these people are going to be brought to heel. There will be justice. There are those Eight of Pentacles that are working on the situation to make it better. And then 10 of Pentacles, families, friends, people coming together, communities coming back together. So there will be a healing that happens. So I like that. Kelly asks, if you don't mind me asking, how is my brother doing? And do I get visits from my mom? So my brother's doing well. And so is his cat, because he has my mom's cat. She's 20, just like my cat Annie is 20. So they're both old ladies, but going strong. He's doing well, still living independently, doing, good. I talk to him a few times a week. We keep in close contact. When it comes to talking to my mom, unless it's something important, I don't get messages from the other side unless I schedule them. Because one thing I learned, and I do recommend all of you that are psychic, that are mediums, channelers, anyone that's intuitive in any way, shape, or form, you can put spirit on a schedule. They do understand earthly human time. Because sometimes it can be overwhelming, right? You can have too many visits. You can have too many people coming to see you. It can just be too much. And so my mom, because both of my sisters have passed and one brother too. I am the youngest by quite a bit in my family. My dad has passed. And so I do get visits, but they know it's in that time, like around 4:30 when I wake up and I go into meditation. Like they know like that's their time to come and say hello. Will there be any political or economic turmoil at the September eclipse? Seska asks. All right, let's see. So yeah, I believe that's on the 15th of September that we are having a lunar eclipse. So lots of energy. If you want to hear more about the lunar eclipse, watch the video that I just put out live with Adam. He actually does talk about that. Okay, well, some difficulties. All right, Page of Swords. Let's keep going though. I want to see how this plays out. So here's the thing. This isn't just a US issue. Once again, like I keep saying, I think we're going to be seeing more and more things happening around the world. It's not just us. I think sometimes we get a little bit too focused on the US, but other things going on in the world with, their economies, their politics. And so this is like a time where people are having a difficult time transitioning, going from one phase to the next, right? Because that's what we need to do. We need to transition to like more harmonious, peaceful times. Ace of Pentacles. So things actually will stabilize. I'm going to say like after the eclipse. So things stabilize financially after the eclipse. But there is going to be a lot of intense energy, lots of changes coming, okay? Five of Swords. but also new beginnings, new partnerships, new deals. So, so it's not all doom and gloom. I know sometimes we look at the astrology and we're like, oh my gosh, so much is happening all at once. It's too much for me to deal with. But, first of all, life goes on, right? No matter what happens with politics, what happens with the economy, we still have to control what we can control, because there's so many things that we can't control, right? And once you watch it on the news, you see it, there's only so much you can do about it from there on out. So, enjoy those new relationships. Make time for friends and family. Do things that you love, okay? And at the bottom of the deck, I love this, 10 of Cups, the card of peace, love, and happiness. Happy endings, families coming together. So yes, the energy is going to be raucous, chaotic at that time. I would agree with this lunar eclipse. And yeah, there's going to be some skirmishes, and this will be like the political garbage that, you might hear a lot about the US politics and what we're going through at that time. And then finally, this person doesn't have a name, just one of those like user identifications, but pretty flowers on your profile pic. One, when we are spirits between lives, does duality exist? No. Duality is for, so for those of you that don't follow my channelings and my teachings from the law of one and whatnot, so duality is a third density construct, and density just means level of consciousness. I know a lot of people talk about dimensions. I talk about density because I follow the Rock Collective, and that's who I channel. So duality is a third density construct that we have here on the earth. And the purpose of it is so we can either be of service to others or service to self. We can choose between a negative or a positive polarity. We have free will in third density. We have actually free will throughout all densities. But the point of third density, the point of the incarnations that people are having right now, is to choose a side. Do you go with the light or do you go with the dark? But once you're on the other side, it's all love and light. It's beautiful. So your soul goes to back to where it always was in whatever planetary system. Maybe you're Palladian or Arcturian or Ra or Lyran, what have you. You go back to somewhere. And those are higher densities. Your soul resides at 6.5 density. So that's a high density where there is no polarities and dualities. It's beautifully telepathic and harmonious. People live as one, okay? Second question, can you trust loved ones who were ill-behaved in life, who in spirit radiate vibrant energy and give solid guidance? Well, that's the whole thing, right? So they come down here, with the best of intentions of trying to ascend. That's the point of being here, right? That's the purpose of life. It's to ascend. It's to grow your consciousness, to hopefully be of service to others, to choose the light, to choose the positive polarity. But once they cross over, they shed all of the garbage, the ego of being human. Because once again, ego is a third density construct. So they don't have that. Now, some of them, because they do have free will, they choose not to be love and light. It's rare that they would choose a negative polarity. You can go up to 5th density and be negative, like some of the negative Orions or Dracos, some of those beings. You can choose a negative if you really, really want to. But what I would say is more than likely, trust your gut, go with your instinct. I do have a mediumship course on demand if anybody wants to take it. It's with Awaken Your Mind and Higher Levels. If you want to learn and make sure that you're getting messages that are good, clear cut, and from a good source. But most of the time, they do their life review. They have to see everything from everyone else's perspective, all the people that they hurt, all the difficulties that they caused. They have to see that. And, once they do, hopefully they learn from it. Then they come up with a plan for another incarnation. I usually see them around like 35 years staying in that place that we call heaven. Sometimes if they had a really horrible incarnation, I have seen them having to go to a place I call the healing center, where these angelic beings seem to like wrap them up in love and light. They kind of like cocoon them, I guess you would want to say, to help them heal. And, you know, time does move quite differently over there, so it takes as long as it takes. That's why I say if you're going to ask for a message from a loved one who's crossed over, give them at least 6 months to just adjust to not having a body, right? And to learn how to be telepathic again and send you messages. And, you know, maybe they do need to be in the healing center. And you can get maybe sometimes a few messages when they're in the healing center, but not usually big, grand messages. So I hope that answered your questions. That's all the questions that I had at this time. So I am going to just take this bag up. I'm going to pull out 3 stones. They're all different sizes. Okay. So hopefully you can see. And I want you to just focus on each one. This will be 1, 2, and 3. Which stone do you feel the most guided to? 1, 2, or 3? You can pause the video. Just take a nice deep breath so you feel grounded. Here we go. So the first stone is wisdom. You know, I think sometimes I hear this a lot from clients when I say, you know, you really should write a book. You should start a YouTube channel, do a blog, do a podcast, teach. And they're like, oh, what do I know? You know, and it's like, you do know, you have more wisdom than what you realize. I think you're just taking it for granted. You're not standing in your power. This could be a really good time for you to either be a mentor for somebody or to mentor someone. Number 2, joy. So a happy time in your life, or you need to focus on having more joy in your life. Ask yourself, what makes me happy? And start doing it, right? Get back your love for life. Do things that make you happy simply because it makes you happy, and it's not selfish. You're raising your vibration, which raises the vibration of those around you, which raises the vibration of the planet, which helps those people that are suffering to ascend to 4th density. And number 3, focus. So make sure that you are being mindful, that you're not multitasking. You're not doing 50 things at once. You know, so often we're trying to eat our meal, we're on our phone, we're watching TV, we're having a conversation, and we're scatterbrained. You know, focus. And this could, for some of you, might mean this is the time you come up with like a strategic game plan. Do pros and cons of whatever it is you're thinking about doing. Write down your goals, start making some action steps, okay, towards those goals. So, all right, everybody, if you haven't already, please hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so you actually get the notifications. If you want a reading in September, go to DianeAquarius.com and check out membership. The links are below. Bye, everyone.